So yeah, today we are going to have a hands on Tableau. Tableau is one of the most popular tools used for data visualization. Before we begin, I would like to know if anybody here has prior experience with Tableau. Do we have anyone who has previously worked with Tableau? Okay, apparently not. Okay, so very little. Sam has worked very little. Yusuf is first time. I assume that for most of you, it's your first time. Michael says never tried it. Asma, same. Okay, yeah, so the assumption is correct. There are two things that I would like to know when we are going to work with Tableau. One of them is that Tableau gives you lots of personalization options. Okay, thank you for mentioning that, Riley. If you have previously worked with Excel, you already are familiar with some formulas, some statistics formulas, simple formulas that show ratio or a correlation between different variables. So this is another thing that you can do in Tableau, okay? Because Tableau is technically works with the kind of similar data that Google Sheet and Excel work with. I suggest you have either the web version or the public Windows application, desktop application that's available. I suggest you to have it open on your system. So while we are proceeding with different prompts and different use cases, you can also try it on your own on your system. I'm gonna take my time. I don't want to be too quick with everything, so I'm gonna be like a bit slower than my usual while doing things. We have multiple data sets which you can actually find on Tableau website. The link that I gave you for installing Tableau also redirects you to a page that is dedicated for Learning tab. There you can find some data sets. You cannot see my screen right now, but for our examples, we have 2016 Presidential Candidates Expenditures. We have Netflix titles. We have data sets dedicated to Star Wars characters data and 2018 World Cup matches. I'm going to begin with another sample, which is for Superstore Orders and products and the users they have. So to do, I'm going to just come here under Connect. I'm going to use Microsoft Excel because the file I have is in XLS format. You can choose which of these you're comfortable with, but here we're going to go with Microsoft Excel. So normally you would be seeing one sheet here if you're working with a JSON file or a CSV file. Since we are working with a Excel file, an Excel file can contain multiple sheets. Okay, so if we have 3 different sheets here, we import them. Here that we have, here we can have a quick glance at like some of the rows of this table. We can see that we have orders, order IDs. On Tableau itself is capable of understanding data types. So it has already written here that, for instance, when we have a ship date, it has a dates format. Or if we have a segment, it's a alphanumerical format. Where we have, I don't know, sales, it's a number. It's by digits. It's quantitative. What I want to do here is to make a relation between orders and returns, okay, because this is also something you can do. Some sheets are related together. They have a common field usually where you can check here. So if you have a data set which has more than one sheet, you can check it here. I'm not going to stay here too much because we don't want to get deeply involved with how you handle the data for now. Just make sure when you want to import a file, you check if it has multiple sheets, or if you want to have a relationship between these, make sure that you already know what field connects them together. Okay. With that, we can proceed with our first sheet. Okay. So this is what you're gonna be seeing when you open a Tableau project. So I'm gonna quickly explain what we have here. This large area here is the main canvas where you will be seeing your visualizations. On the left, data fields where you can access them. Some of them are quantitative, the others aren't. Okay, so they are distinguished here. What you can do is that you can group these data fields. Some of them are related. So if you take a look here, please take a look here. Suppose that you can read it easily. If not, let me see if I can zoom in. Do I have the option to zoom in? Unfortunately not. So if you can see this left side panel, can you let me know in the chat which data fields might be related or can be categorized under the same category? First of all, can you read it? Because it might be too small. Okay, no. Yes. Okay, for those of you which, oh yeah, it's quite small. I know. So Riley said location data like city, country, region can be put together. Yeah, of course. So for location, because we have orders here, for the location of order, we can have some of these data fields in the same category. To do so, we can simply click on one of them. Let's say I'm going to say country, okay? And here I can have, group by. So group by folder. Okay, sorry about that. So it would be a bummer if I have forgotten where was the option. Okay, so region can be added to the country. Oops. Create a hierarchy. Okay, yeah. So we can have a hierarchy here. I can include region, country, city. I can put postal code here under the same hierarchy. I can have this state. So country, region, state, city, postal code. I can have another hierarchy for an order, which can create hierarchy. It can be an order. Yeah, so I can put product ID here, product name here. I can put category here, or I can have a hierarchy as Kent has mentioned here. Customer name, ID, and postal code. So if I'm not gonna focus on the location, and if I want to put my focus on a customer, I can move postal code from here to the customer name here. So for now, I'm gonna just exclude it and have these here, and I'm gonna rename it to location. Okay, so here you can manipulate these variables and set hierarchies for them. To begin making a simple visualization, I want to see how much profit we have for each state. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna create a new field. Okay, create a calculated field. This is similar to what you basically do on Google Sheet or Excel. You can define formulas here. Here I'm gonna say profit by state. Okay, so for this I'm gonna say sum of profit item state. I'm gonna double check this formula because I'm not really good with syntax and I keep forgetting them. Just give me a second. Okay, so I'm gonna have this here. I'm gonna select these two, and on the right side you can see that we have a show me option here. Okay, so this show me, it gives us some options to visualize our data. I'm gonna use a map. Okay, I'm not sure why it's not working. Profit by state, yeah, and we choose it here. Okay, I can simply show you what I had previously. So give me a second. Okay, we have the sample here, and I think there has been something wrong with my formula. Let me just check that. Profit ratio, edit, sum sales. Okay, yeah, I've done something wrong here. So let me return back to our, I'm gonna proceed with this one. Okay, so I've already did it here. I can show you what's been done here. I can remove them and show them again how it works. So I choose the location and profit ratio, and I choose the map icon here. I should be able to see it right now. I don't know why it doesn't work. Okay, and location. Yeah, it works right now. So the other option you have is to just drag and drop them into rows and columns. So here we have multiple options to visualize this visualization. I'm going to let you know one by one. So on this left side panel we have marks and we have filters. These two helps us with tweaking with the data we are showing. Okay, when I hover over states, on different states, you see this little window showing next to my cursor with some data on it. To tweak what's been showing here, we will be working with this mark panel here. In my mark, I have assigned that I want to see the country, the states, and the profit ratio in percentage. To edit it, you can edit each of these items separately or all along together. Let's say in the beginning when I added the profit ratio, it wasn't in percentage. To do that, you can right click on any of them and you can change their formatting. For instance, here for the profits, I have set it to percentage and I have assigned it to show 2 decimal points here. Okay, so whenever I hover on it, I can see this data here. So the country is the same for all of them, but we have different state names. On the other hand, what if we want to filter what we are seeing based on other data variables? Okay, so let me just remove these from here. On the filters section, this is where we usually add filters. There are some other advanced ways of doing that, but we're not going to go after them. So you can see here that you can group your orders based on their category, okay? So I can have filters here. They can be furniture, office supplies, technology, okay? Or I can filter them based on the region. I can filter the states we're seeing based on the region. So I'm going to choose all of them, and we have it here. And first, it's not shown here on the right side to tweak with it, so I have to click on Show Filter. This is for the time when you share a visualization with somebody else and you want to give them access to have some sort of tweaking to your visualization. So you can see when I toggle them, what we see changes. And in order to customize this visualization we have here, you can come to the color and edit colors. This is one of the most important tools that Tableau gives us. You can tweak everything. So here you have predefined color ranges. I have chosen to use a red to green spectrum, but you can define it yourself. You can have custom sequential. You can have custom diverging, anything you want. I'm gonna stick with this. Another thing you can do here is that you can set a start and an end. So my question here is, when do you think we would like to change the end and beginning of this spectrum? Do you have any idea? Okay, Michael, while you're thinking about my question, Michael has asked, are we supposed to have this data set, or is this just for demonstration? This is for demonstration. You can download it from Tableau website itself. So I'm gonna just put the link here if you want to have access to other data sets. And just let me find the link. Okay. Michael and everybody else, if you want to check the existing data sets, you can just go to this link. There are lots of data sets you can see. So Riley has answered from 0 to 100%. What do you mean by 0 to 100%? Profit margin. Okay. So let's tweak it a bit, and then I will ask the question again. You see here, I can have an automatic start and an automatic end. Okay. So Tableau itself can decide where to put the start and the beginning. So you already see that it's changed. Okay. The color spectrum here has changed. So knowing this, again, when do you think we would like to tweak with this start and the end? I would like to just know your opinion. Exactly, Harshil is right. Change the start and the end to represent a more diverse data set. Yeah, let's say if you are, it also sometimes it depends on your audience, okay? Sometimes you wanna, your audience has a perception of a minimum and maximum which is different from what you already have on your data set. Okay, here our lowest profit is minus 21%. Okay, but maybe the manager who is seeing this data set, he's also considering that the profit can be as lowest as minus 50%. Okay, so to give them a sense of what's happening here in our data, we can tweak the start and the end. Or vice versa, your manager or anybody who's seeing this visualization, maybe they're also assuming that you're going to have 100% profit, okay, 200% profit, or they have been achieving these numbers previously. So you want to set to 1.2, okay? So basically, you're saying that this is our limit, this is the minimum expected and maximum expected, and this is what we're saying. So when they look at this visualization, they can understand that in some states, we've been having like pretty much good profit, but it's not as good as we used to have before. Okay? So this is something you can do. And okay, yeah, so you can add filters. You can tweak them here, or let's say you want to filter what you're seeing based on the profits you are having. So I'm going to add another filter here as a range of value. So this is technically a slider. I'm going to add it here. So I'm going to tweak the data to have the estates which have like more than 1% profit, or they have a positive number for profit, okay? Or if I just want to see the states who were extremely in loss, I don't want to see those profitable states. So this is also what you can tweak here. So I hope this example has shown you the basics of what you can do. So we will proceed with another sort of visualization based on the same data set. So another thing you would like to do is to show data in a chronological order during the time. Okay, so for that we have the sum of the sales. Here we have chosen sale as our, let me just move these dashboards. So here on the x-axis we have the, let me put it here. We have time, okay, and on the y-axis we have the number of the sales. So this is a pretty much normal linear figure. The point about this diagram is that the area, the colored area, also represents the amount of sales during that period of time. So not only we have these data points here, but also we've got the accumulated amount of sale during a period of time. When you're working with dates, or generally speaking, when you're working with numerical variables on rows and columns, you should pay attention whether it's discrete or continuous, okay? So naturally, time is continuous, okay? Time is not discrete. So when we are working with time, we set it as continuous. If we set it as discrete, it will tweak with what we see, so we get to have a better visualization for our time-based numbers. Another thing you should be paying attention to when you're working with time is that you can choose the chunks of time by which you're going to show the data. I'm going to make a change, and I would like to explain to me why we see different results. Okay, so here I'm gonna say I want to have monthly chunks of time, but at the same time, if I choose this one, I get to see a whole other number, and I have to increase this end so that you see, oh, okay. So let me get back to it. Okay, so let me do it again. This is we're seeing when we choose this one, and when we switch to this one, we see something like this. So can anyone explain to me what happens here that we're seeing different results? Okay, but okay, I'm choosing the monthly preview, okay? Both options are monthly, okay? But I suggest you pay attention to what happens to the x-axis. So let me do it again. Okay, this is the monthly order, okay? This is also monthly order, okay? have some hunches which aren't exactly correct, but you can get to the answer with a few more tries, Riley. Is the question clear? Not really. Okay. Okay, how many people agree with Hind? Normally, I would be able to detect if I'm making you confused by seeing your faces, but since I don't see your faces, okay. It's just increasing quickly. Okay, so let me repeat that again. We want to see how much sales we've had each month, okay? This is the question we're asking. We want to visualize this, okay? We have correctly decided to set some of the sales as rows, as we can clearly see here, and our columns are months of the year, okay? First month checks each month throughout the year. Second is the sum of the months. Yeah, Sam, that's correct. Okay, there is a difference between chronological order of time and categorizing them under the same month. Sorry if I'm not capable of transferring it properly in English. I try my best. So here, when you choose this one, you're not taking chronological order into mind. You're saying we might have data from 2013 to 2018, okay? For each of these years, I wanna have a sum of sales made in each September, okay? September 2013, September 2014, I add them up together and I show them under September here. So what you see here is the sum of all the sales made in every September each year, okay? But when you switch to this continuous representation of time, you can see that September 2014 is shown here and September 2015 is here, and they have different numbers. So please take that into consideration when you're working with time. Okay, I just wanted to show you an example. If you want to work with time on Tableau, this is a common mistake that can happen. And you can have quarters instead of months. The first quarter of 2014, seasonal data and all other sorts of data here. We have all other sorts of time variations we have here, or we can also have the daily. So here for the daily view, the accumulated number of sales, amount of sales is too low. So we have to change the y-axis scale. To do, we can simply click on it and edit axis. And here you can always set it to automatic. It can automatically detect the highest amount and then tweak the axis based on the data set itself. You can also have it assigned fixed. So I'm gonna set it 25,000. Okay. So here it changes. Okay. We can proceed to the next one. Let's say we want to have tables. Okay. So for tables, first of all, you have a measures name here. Sorry, let me measure values. I'm looking for measure values. Okay. So you have a section called measure values, which consists of all of the numerical variables you have in your data set. Okay. It's always can be found here under this. Okay. So you can choose to have it shown here. I've already done it before. So you can also tweak this table here by having it horizontal or vertical. You can change the format of each of these variables, set them here for the sum of sales. We want to have it in USD or currency format. So I set it as currency. You can see that it changes here. For the sum of profits, I want to have it as currency. Okay, we can have it here. Let's say I would like to have a profit ratio, supposes to be in percent, profit ratio in percentage. Okay, so it's 12.5. I can, sorry. Yeah, so this is when you want to have a tabular view. Another thing that you can do, let me check my notes to see if I have missed anything. So we show the map view. We had the data over time. Okay. Oh, we can do another thing. Here, let me see if it's under viewing. Okay, so let me set this to month and have it automatic. Okay. So do you have any questions so far before we proceed? No questions? How do you get the profit ratio again? Okay, so whenever you want to calculate something, just like what you do on Google Sheets, you can have some formulas, okay? So here, I want to create a calculated field. This is how I do it. I have already done it here. So let me have it here. Hind has said, can you post this Zoom after you're done as a recorded session? Yeah, we're going to post it on YouTube. We are also going to have other sorts of tutorials. We will introduce you links. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, because like there are lots of things we cannot cover in a single session. I'm trying to be as comprehensive as I can, but given the online setup, we cannot cover like the whole thing, but I try to be comprehensive. So here you define it by this formula. So you might be asking, why does this formula works? It's based on the data set we have. So let me come here to the data source. I should be able to see our data source. I cannot access it. I have to open it as a CSV. Okay. Just let me open the file and then change the screen that I'm sharing with you. Okay, so I have the file here. All right. Let me check the... Okay. So I have to do two things. One, to add my presentation to OBS, which I am recording everything with. So Excel, okay. Excel, okay. Okay. So I'm gonna put this here. I hope it doesn't mess up with my recording. It doesn't. Okay, now I share my new screen with you. Share. Okay, so can everybody, yeah, you can all see the data set. So here, as you can see, let me come here. So here we have a number of sales. and we have a number for profit. Okay, for each state we add all of the sales made in that state, and we have it as a number. We have all the profit made in that state. Okay, we add all the profit, and we add all the sale, and based on the formula I just showed you, let me double check so I'm not making it wrong. So we are dividing the sum of profit by the sum of sales. Okay, so it technically gives us the percentage, the ratio between profit and sales. Okay, we can also check the data set here and see that our profit has a negative amount, can have a negative value. Okay, so there is a chance to add all of these profits and get a negative number. If you get a negative number, it means that you have been in loss. You haven't been making profit. So the formula comes from here, and let me share my, where's Tableau again? Okay, Tableau is here. Okay, and let me just remove this from my OBS. Yes, okay, so here, as the formula says, I'm doing this for each state. Okay, therefore when I hover over each of these states, I can see the percentage of the profit that they have made. Okay, so this is where the formula comes from. I would also like to see you another example where we can have a bar chart, and based on that bar chart we can like tweak with this, I've forgotten the name, I'm sorry. So this little window that opens here, it has a like cute name. I have forgotten the name. So this window you hear, we can tweak it. Okay, we can tooltip. Yeah, it's a tooltip. So we can tweak with the tooltip here, and we can change it. We're gonna create a bar chart, and then we're gonna use that bar chart to customize the tooltip we have here. So let me just call it profit ratio by city. Profit ratio by city. Okay. So we have a city here. We can have it as rows, and we can have profit as columns. Okay, so this is what we have. Okay, we have a bar chart which shows us profit, and we have to tweak it a bit so that we get a better visualization. So first of all, let's set it as custom, and it's 65,000. I'm gonna set it to 30,000 and see how it changes. Okay. Okay, it's better. I can also click on this little icon here. I hope you all see it. It changes the sort. Okay, so it now has a descending sort, decreasing sort. So I can also change the color. Like I can set it to be green, I don't know, something like orange or red. So anything, you can do it here. Next, okay, I would also like to disable showing headers. Okay, so I don't have it here yet. This has a clean view for me, and I have the city here. What I want to do is to come here. I can change the tooltip. Okay, so I'm gonna remove country. Okay, I'm gonna have a state here. I'm gonna have profit ratio. I'm gonna have each city, okay, no, divided by cities. Okay, and I'm gonna use insert here, and I want to choose these sheets here. Okay, so from the sheets that I have here, I want to use profit ratio by city. Okay, so filter all field, we have this state. We can actually remove this state, so we can have the profit ratio with a larger text divided by cities. So let's have a dark black color for this and a grayish for this, and press OK. Okay, you can see here that for each state, okay, we have this, but the problem here is that the original bar chart has a way different scale because of we have cities like Seattle which have made like lots of sales. Okay, so the profit here, okay, I can change this. I can put it here and remove this. Okay, so this way we have like a better representation. And instead of showing the sales amounts, we're gonna show the sales percentage. So I have to change the format again. Let me see. Nope. The format here on the pane, I'm gonna set it to percentage and check if it has changed. Yeah, it's changed to percentage with 2 decimal digits. So when I come here, I should be able, yeah, and now we have a way better representation of the cities. Okay, this is what you can also do. So another thing we can do, any questions so far? We have a message on the chat. How did you bring out the edit tooltip pop-up? Great question. So again, whatever here in this canvas, anything can be edited under this marks panel. Okay, colors, size, labels, details and stuff. To edit the tooltip, you click on the tooltip icon here. Okay, so this window pops up. Okay, let's say I can change this. For example, I can increase the width and set it to 500 pixels. And if I do that, when I hover here, we've got a way wider panel for the tooltip showing here. Okay, there are lots of things you can do here. Another thing that I would like to show you is LOD. It's the abbreviation is LOD expression. So we want to see if a state is profitable or not in a single glance. There are two more things that I would like to show you. One of them is that, let's say if you want to see the amount of sale in different categories, and if you want to, and in case you want to check if a order was profitable or not. Okay, so we have something here, like I'm gonna use profit and order. Okay, and I'm gonna create a Boolean variable showing whether a product is profitable or not. Okay, so I'm gonna say it's is profitable. Okay, so here I have this. For a fixed order, I want to calculate the sum of profit. Okay, so here the condition is that I want to make sure if it's more than 0, so it's been profitable. One thing you should know about formulas and everything here is that you can have comments, like similar to if you have any background in HTML and stuff, same thing. You want to have comments here, and I'm gonna say this formula calculates whether a fixed order has been profitable or not. Okay, so I'm gonna have this here, and it's gonna show up here. It's true and false. Okay, here it's too tiny and I don't suppose you see it, but it's a Boolean variable here. It's true, false. It's shown here. I'm gonna edit it a bit. First of all, aliases. The Boolean variable that I have defined has a true, false value. But we don't want them to have true or false names. So if it's false, it means that it's been a loss. Recommendation: don't use such aliases. These are bad practices, but for the sake of having a bit of fun during the lecture, I'm gonna use the name as this. And if it's profitable, we're gonna say profit. Okay, so this is it. So here we have this LOD here. So we're gonna add this to our visualization, and before that I want to change the order. Let me just find it. Duplicate, create, no. Change data type, no. Default properties, sort. Yeah, here I want to have a manual sorting. So if it's profitable, it has a higher position when it's sort. If an order is profitable, it has a higher priority. So let me double check to see if this change is applied. Sort. Yeah, it's right. So I want to add this to my visualization. Based on what we have learned so far, where do you think I should drag and drop this item here? We already know that here is where we see the visualization. We have the variables we want to show here, and filters and marks here. Just to keep you a bit more engaged, where do you think I should put it? Anyone? Okay, if you're struggling to remember, yeah, that's not that far, Michael. Yeah, so here's a reminder. Anything you want to add to what you see here comes under this marks panel. Okay, so I'm gonna just put this here. Okay, bam, I have it here, but it's a bit strange. Okay, because I see that these are too similar. I have to change the colors, so I'm gonna click here. I have to be able to change colors. Why can't I change colors here? Detail. Show filter. Format, yeah. So here I want to have the... Okay, let me double check this on why we are not seeing it. Let me check if I remove this from here and add this here. Choose it all. Show filter. Oh my goodness, why does... Okay, let me check this. No worries. Edit and shelf. Where did I change the color codings? Okay, yeah, that's here. Yeah, it's color. Okay. So if you wanna, if you wanna change have a color representation of it, you can just add it here. And as you can see, it's also added to our tooltip here. Another thing I would like to add here is how we can have the sale amount by each category. Okay, so this is the last thing we're going to be looking at for this example, for this data set, is that how we can see separate categories. Again, what we're trying to do here is to have different rows. So we choose category and add it to our rows, and now we have different rows. We can also add it to our filters, okay? Add it as a filter, and you see we can tweak it here. If we remove this from here and tweak with the categories, we can see how much sales we have for furniture and office supplies all together, okay, or under the technology section, okay? So this is what you can do. So let me check my notes and see if we are missing anything. So we covered the tooltip formulas, changing the scales, sorting, adding data from another sheet to this one, the existing one here, having different categories, tweaking with the labels. Okay, we have right now we have technically covered anything we were supposed to, everything we were supposed to. So if you have any questions, you can let me know. I was hopeful that we could also cover another data set, which seemed to be a bit exciting. Like we had another data set based on Airbnb bookings, and we wanted to see if there were any relationship between two quantitative variables, like the number of reviews and the measures of a room. So before getting into that, I would like to ask if you have any questions. Or if you don't have any questions, what is it that you wanted to know and like you were expecting to see during the lab but you haven't? SQL. Okay, so SQL would be fun. When it comes to semantics, I usually prefer to search, and I suggest everyone else to search whenever they don't know the semantics and the formulas and stuff. So we didn't focus on that stuff that much. But if you have any questions regarding SQL and the technical stuff that is related to data visualization, you can just ping me on Discord or via email and we can discuss it. Any other questions? And nothing major. However, I am wondering how can we know what assignments we have, because for now there is no assignment on Canvas. Okay, I'm gonna update the assignment description tonight, okay, and you will be able to see it on Discord, on Canvas. I will post an announcement on our Discord group chat. So basically your assignment will be working with a data set, with one of the data sets that Tableau provides, or if you're too creative and you want to be proactive, you can choose another data set and you define questions yourself and you explore it in your own way. But I will post it tonight and let you know. There will be an assignment on Canvas, and the due date, every time you want to check any date or any description or anything, just make sure you visit the course website, Data and Dialogue. You have the link on Canvas. So the due dates will be next week, September 22. Okay. Jay has said exporting this data to somewhere else. Okay, so actually, since we are using the public version of Tableau, you can come here to the files. You can opt to save it to Tableau public, so it will be technically accessible on your Tableau profile. You can also export it as a packaged workbook, because It's also something I wanted to cover, but we didn't have time. So basically, if you have different sheets, you can put them in a worksheet, you can put them in a dashboard, and you can have a group of these dashboards and turn them into a news story. Okay, so this is something you will be doing. We're not going to cover it right now. Okay, exporting this data set, it's not something required. If you're interested, you can check your profile on Tableau website. Okay, and we will discuss it a bit further for your final project, because for your final project you're going to be working something that needs to be published on a web page. Okay, so one step at a time. Okay, we have 8 minutes left, which is not that much time to cover Airbnb example, and I know that you're already tired, so I'm gonna just put the question here. Okay, let me see if we can do it just like really quick. Okay, we can do it really quickly. You might be a bit tired, but I think it might be fun, so I'm gonna be quick with it. Okay, so do we have a comment here? No, we don't. So open. No. I want to work with a whole different data set. Okay, oops, I opened a bunch of them. So I have to add source. Okay, I'm gonna post it as a video. I'm not gonna be like using the class, consuming the class to the last minutes. So if you don't have any questions, we can close the lab, the lecture tonight. Just make sure, it's a reminder, your next lecture will be recorded on Thursday. You will get extra score if you show up during lectures, which is also fun, by the way. Your assignment will be published tonight. The due date is next Monday. If you have any questions, do we have a time for the lecture? Like your lectures is always on Mondays from 6:30 to 8:20. Okay, so this is a fixed time. I'm sorry, your labs. Your labs are on Mondays. Your lecture, the exact time will be announced by Alireza, but it will be somewhere around 5 p.m., 5:30, something like that. Okay? Yeah. You're welcome, Riley. Lectures, next lab, assignment. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will record a video showing you what I was intending to do at the end of this lab. If there's no further question, we can all say goodbye and have a good night. So the live lecture will be on Thursday. Yeah, the lecture will be recorded on Thursday around 5 p.m. You are not obligated to participate, but if you do, it's fun and you get extra score and you will be more comfortable with the quiz that you're going to have on Monday. And from now on, your quizzes will be graded. Okay? Sounds good. Perfect. Thank you all for being here. I hope that you've learned enough. Take care and have a good night. See you next Monday. You're welcome. Take care. Good night.